Growth and progress. Where industries grow, states develop, and the need for laws becomes necessary. Oconto County residents knew local and state government were important to ensure the rights and protection of all people. The most famous statesman from Oconto County was Edward Schofield. He became governor of Wisconsin in 1897. His Oconto residence is now on the National Registry of Historic Sites. Edward Schofield was the last lumber baron governor. Charles Hall served as a state assemblyman in the early days, representing Oconto County. E. A. Edmonds of Oconto Falls was the youngest man ever elected state assemblyman. He was about 24 years old and continued in politics many years. It was a day of celebration when county officials moved from the small wooden county building on the south side to this stone structure on the river across from Hart's Landing. Herbert Jones, grandson of one of Oconto's founders, was county judge for more than 25 years. The Meagan family was in Oconto County law for many years. Paul and Giles were attorneys, and their brother Frank was a judge. Some Oconto County leaders achieved national positions, such as David Clausen, an Oconto attorney. He became a United States congressman. Victor O'Kelleher, a major in World War I, was in General Hershey's office in Washington, D.C. Henry Johnson of Suring served as state treasurer of Wisconsin. Henry Johnson was in office at the time the Capitol was rebuilt due to fire. Reuben Lefebvre, state senator from Oconto, realized the importance of the copper culture site and through his office informed other lawmakers. Public education was not available for early settlers. They learned at home, taught by parents or neighbors. A Mr. Squires taught in Hart's trading post in Oconto. The long benches faced the wall of the store, where a shelf could be used to write on. Small schools began to appear around the county, such as this one at Little Swamico. With the warmth of a single wood stove, these children studied on bitter winter days. Teachers rang handbells to start school. This is the Abrams School. Towns grew and larger schools were needed. This second Lincoln School of Oconto was at the corner of Jefferson and Arbutus. At last, children from all over the county could receive an education through 8th grade. This is the Lena School. This impressive red brick building on Michigan Street in Oconto was Oconto's second high school. Oconto Falls High School was built soon after 1900. Before that, students boarded in Oconto, Green Bay, or other cities for their high school years. Gillett built a school in 1909 to replace its little red schoolhouse, built in the 1860s. Teachers in the early high schools were called professors. Professor McClelland, left, and Professor Gould, right, taught in Oconto. Mabel Hart was the principal of Washington School soon after 1900. Nora O'Kelleher was known county-wide as the teacher who taught 54 years at Lincoln School in Oconto. Ellen B. McDonald, attired here as she dressed for her bitter winter trips to county schools, was the county superintendent and also taught many years. Class plays have long been favorite entertainment in Oconto County schools, as well as glee clubs and choirs. One popular musical group that no longer exists was known as the Mandolin Club, although it included violins and a horn or two. Basketball and football have been favorite sports for many years. This Suring basketball team won the 1916 Northeastern Wisconsin Championship. Players and fans alike waited eagerly for baseball season to begin. An outstanding player, shown here with the Marquette University team, was Giles Megan. He broke all records and made Ripley's Believe It or Not by striking out 62 batters and allowing only 7 hits in 3 days of consecutive play. Girls basketball has been popular for many years. This was an Oconto High School team. Uniforms have changed, and so have the rules, since this Lena team played. The Clipper team, organized in the 1880s, was the first baseball team in Oconto. Oconto County residents were horse racing fans. They gathered at the Bayview Driving Park for trotter racing. This later became Oconto's Memorial Field. Winter sports included ice skating and sledding, but this airplane motor sled vehicle was unique. Spring was a special time. On balmy days, some young ladies couldn't resist shedding those long, hot dresses, right down to bloomers and black stockings. Summer brought out fashionable bathing attire for swimming in county lakes, rivers, and the bay. Biking was not only for those Sunday afternoon spins on county roads, but was basic transportation for many. For the wealthy, there was boating in private craft, such as the Mabel Hart, owned by the Cyrus Hart family. Dining out was special, too. The Washington House on Main Street, Oconto, was a favorite dining place. In those early days, one fellow with a sense of humor managed to keep Oconto citizens wondering what practical joke he would pull next. He was Wal Phillips. The family home of Wal Phillips has remained through the years next to the Oconto Post Office. The Phillips farm was located in the township of Oconto. The home and livery stable covered a large area, which later became the center of Oconto City. Although Wal Phillips was a joker, it was no joke when his faithful horse, Robinson Crusoe, died. Phillips had a funeral for old Rob, as he called him, hired mourners, and a band. Religion was important from the earliest days of Oconto County. The first St. Peter's Church of Oconto is believed to have been the oldest public building in the county. The Reverend Valiant served St. Peter's during its formative years and was in charge of the construction of the hall, rectory, school, and the towering church. Before St. Anthony's Church of Oconto Falls was organized, the priest from Stiles served the Oconto Falls residents by having services there once a month. Priests, including Father Burgemeyer of Oconto Falls, made their visits by buggy in spite of bad weather and the lack of good roads. Little Swamico's St. Pius Church was the scene of many community gatherings. In 1870, Father Schwabach, the priest at St. Peter's, asked permission to start another parish in Oconto for non-French-speaking members. St. Joseph's Church encompasses the original 40 by 80 frame sanctuary. Soon after the congregation was organized, they built St. Joseph's School. It has been in use continually since it opened its doors to students. The Reverend Seth Ford was a Methodist missionary to the Indians of Oconto County. He became a pastor of the Oconto Methodist Church. The small brick Methodist church stood on the corner of Park Avenue and Congress Street in Oconto. Oconto Gospel Chapel, one of the most recent church organizations in Oconto, was formed in 1934. The Reverend Luther was an early Oconto Presbyterian minister. The church was organized in 1856. The second church, lower left, burned in the 1870s. The photo on the right shows the third building. This is the interior of the Third Presbyterian Church, decorated for a special occasion. Young people's church groups were active in community and world projects. These provided much of their social life. First American Lutheran Church of Oconto was organized in 1874 by German-speaking people. The congregation built the small wooden church in the lower photo. The brick church with steeple was constructed later. The Reverend Hermann Eisenbach, shown here with a confirmation class, served the German Lutheran congregation in Oconto for 42 years. This Danish Lutheran church stood on Elm Street in Oconto. St. Mark's Episcopal Church of Oconto was established in 1856. This stone building was built in 1900. These are rural churches at Hickory, the Methodist Church at top, and the Christian Church in the lower photo. This church is the most famous in Oconto County. Built in 1886, it was the first building in the world for the Christian Science faith. Picnics were favorite events, such as this one by the Lutheran Church of Little Swamico. Churches have played an important role in the growth and progress of Oconto County.